Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Lots of Bears news and rumors coming out of the NFL Combine in Indianapolis after Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles talked earlier today. Could there be a bidding war coming for the number one pick in the NFL draft? NFL Network's Ian Rapoport reports that there is, quote, significant interest in the number one pick. Now, I also want to add this. Ryan Poles said earlier today that the Bears could make a trade down from the number one pick before free agency begins on March 15th. Now, I don't think anything would happen this week. I think this week is really getting all the information, right? Like, you want to meet with prospects, learn more about them, field offers from teams, meet with other executives in person, and kind of just get a feel for what the offers could be. And then, from starting March 5th through the 15th, maybe that's when things really ramp up and a trade does get done. Now, Poles didn't say for sure a trade would happen before March 15th. He just said that it simply were possible. Now, I think with all the chatter, there is a very good chance, obviously, that the Bears will trade down, and there's a lot of quarterback-needy teams out there. Houston Texans have been rumored as a team that could move up. Mel Kiper has them trading up to one in his latest mock. We'll probably break that down on Wednesday. The Colts sitting there at number 4. They've been a popular team that could move up. Raiders, Falcons, Panthers in that 7, 8, 9 range. Titans at 11 could make sense. Jets, I think they want to go the veteran route, but they do need a quarterback. Commanders at 16. Hey, today they said Sam Howell enters the offseason as the starter, but he's going to have to compete, so maybe they move up for a QB. Bucs need a quarterback. Detroit, Seattle, the Giants, and the Ravens, depending on what happens with Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson, they could be in the mix. Things are heating up. Things are heating up. I told you guys, once we get to the Combine, things are going to ramp up. More rumors are going to drop. We're going to hear from the GM and the coach, which we did today, and things are going to start getting put into motion. So it's an exciting time right now. It's a massive offseason for this franchise, as we've discussed over and over, and I'm excited for it to actually get underway. Now, will the Bears trade the number one pick before or after free agency starts? March 15th. Before or after, will the Bears trade it before or after? What do you guys think? Type B for before, type A for after. You're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break, so go reply to the pinned comment, which is this question, with a B or an A when it comes to the Chicago Bears potentially trading the number one pick. Now let's talk about Matt Eberflus, as the Bears head coach spoke to reporters about a variety of topics today in Indianapolis, as the Bears are obviously at the center of attention, holding that number one pick, having the most cap space NFL free agency. I broke down earlier today Ryan Poles' press conference, so if you guys want to check out that video, it is up on the channel. Here are my main 3 takeaways from Matt Eberflus. Number 1, he wants an impactful wide receiver, which I found that interesting that he said that as more of a defensive-minded coach. Now, obviously, he is a head coach. He's got to keep thought to all 3 phases of the football for Chicago. Part of the quote he said was that we need a guy that can make plays in critical moments. Now, that doesn't mean that Darnell Mooney can't do that. That doesn't mean Chase Claypool can't do that. But I do think the Bears are recognizing that if they can go find a number 1 wide receiver, that's something they have to consider. Flus mentioned if that guy is sitting there in the draft, we won't hesitate to go get him. So I think the draft could be an avenue because free agency obviously isn't super strong at receiver. Maybe that changes if guys like Keenan Allen or Michael Thomas become available. But if the Bears can get that true number 1 guy for Justin Fields, that obviously would make a lot of difference. More on Flus's presser in a second, but this is a perfect time to subscribe to Chicago Bears Now. We're almost at 61,000 subs, only 464 away. So if you want to help us reach that milestone, if you love this football team, hit that subscribe button. We'll continue to bring you daily coverage here on the Bears. All right, number 2, improving the defensive line is a priority. Just the way you hear Flus talk about defensive linemen, it's obvious he wants to get a couple dudes up there, especially at that 3-tech spot. He was asked specifically what he looks for in defensive linemen. He said, big, long, and fast. And keep your minds out of the gutter, fellas. But he wants big, athletic dudes. Why wouldn't you? You got to get after the quarterback. So we'll see if and how they address that. Obviously, they're going to have to. I mean, you got to get much better on your defensive line. One guy is off the market. We'll talk about who that is in a second. But you got to get 2, 3, 4, 5 more defensive linemen this offseason. And then number 3 is he's very prepared. I mean, he is locked in. He is ready to go. He actually talked earlier today saying that he put together 60 free agent profiles where he did a bunch of film study and did full evaluations on some of the top free agents and presented that to Ryan Poles and his staff, and said he plans to do the same for the NFL draft. So Eberflus is involved in personnel, at least evaluations, maybe not necessarily decisions. I do think Poles is going to be the ultimate decision maker there, but I think your head coach should be in those conversations, and I find that to be very, very important. Poles and Flus are businesslike. They're ready to go. You listen to these guys talk. They're not shying away from the significance of this offseason in terms of how critical it is to spend your money wisely and to figure out the best path forward for having this number 1 pick, what you want to do with it, whether that's trading down a couple spots, trading down further in round 1 to get more picks. They know what's at stake, and the word they keep using is flexibility. They do have a lot of flexibility with their options this offseason, and that's very valuable to have, and it gives you a better chance of having success, and it gives you more room for error as well. Do you trust Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles? Simple question. Type T for trust or D for don't. Do you trust the Bears regime as they enter their second season and really their first full, like, hey, let's get this thing going off season? Let us know down in the comments section. Now, Matt Eberflus talked a lot about defensive linemen, and one of those guys is now off of the market as the Washington Commanders have officially franchise tagged defensive tackle Daron Payne. Adam Schefter had the note at about 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, take a nap, Shefty. But he said that Payne has received the franchise tag, which is just under $19 million, and that has been done by Washington. And look, he's obviously a guy that I would have liked to have, and I think a lot of Bears fans would have liked to have. But we knew this was coming. Report heading into that franchise tag window is that this is expected to be the case. 64 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 20 quarterback hits. He's a really talented player, but doesn't appear he'll be heading to Chicago. So now the focus shifts elsewhere. You gotta pivot, and I gotta think that the Bears are a smart franchise, and probably we're not expecting Payne to become available necessarily, but there's going to be other players that are available. You look at a Dre'Mont Jones and a Javon Hargrave. I think this is likely where the focus shifts here. Jones, an ascending young player at just 26 years old, had 6.5 sacks last year, 10 quarterbacks hits, a forced fumble. Javon Hargrave coming off maybe the best year of his career, helping lead that Eagles team to the Super Bowl, had 11 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. Now he is 30, just turned 30. So, he's about one contract ahead of Jones in his career. You could, make a decent argument that he's probably peaked as a player, whereas with Jones, I think he's probably still ascending, and that's probably why I might lean Dre'Mont Jones due to his age, and you might actually get him for a little bit cheaper. I'll be curious to see what their markets are, but Hargrave is more proven over a longer period of time. Jones had a great year this year and has shown flashes earlier in his career, but I think he's really set to take off here. I'm excited about what the Bears do at this position because, to me, if both these guys hit the open market, you've got to get one of them. That's kind of the way I view things, and hopefully the Bears are able to do that. So pick a defensive tackle. Type DJ for Dre'Mont Jones. Type JV for Javon Hargrave. Let me know which defensive tackle you would rather have down in the comment section below. And if you want to hit me up on social media and give me your Bears thoughts, you can do so at HGramNFL on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL on Instagram. If you have more thoughts about the Chicago Bears, let me know on social media.